morning to all the participants in this conference. I am Yasmin Othman Mydin, and I am a senior lecturer and a psychologist at Universiti Sains, Islam, Malaysia. And whereas the other researchers, Dr. Nur Zarina, she was my supervisor when I was doing PhD at Universiti Sains, Malaysia, and Professor Said Hassan, a psychiatry consultant with the University of Technology Mara, and Madam Naziha, she is a PhD candidate of Universiti Sains, Malaysia. And the title of my paper, which I'm going to present, is Depression Symptoms and Life Events as Influential Factors for Insomnia. And this is among the adults in general population in Malaysia. Okay, first of all, this is the picture of our university, Universiti Sains Islam Malaysia, and the building is the building of Chancellery, so which is situated just a little further from the entrance, the main entrance of the university. Okay, and as an introduction, so sleep is a biological and behavioral phenomenon which, however, changes in pattern throughout humans' lifetime. And we spend about 30% of our life in sleep, as according to Hassan, 2002. And I would like to include this a little on Islamic perspective here, which is mentioned, Allah mentioned in Quran, that I make you to sleep to get some rest. And various research has been done on the sleep itself, that it acts as a rest for human. Okay, and however, there are factors which can affect sleep, and sleep problems may be experienced at some point in adult's life. And there are factors involved in contributing to these sleep difficulties, such as life events experienced by adults, psychological distress, physiological factors, and environmental factors may contribute to these sleep difficulties. Okay, and about insomnia. So insomnia is not a disease, but it involves some symptoms, and there are a few symptoms here, such as difficulty to initiate sleep, that is to fall asleep, maintaining the sleep, non-restorative sleep or non-refreshing kind of sleep, impairment of daytime functioning. So the non-refreshing sleep is usually a person will feel tired as they wake up from sleep. So this is according to the International Classification of Sleep Disorder. And we would like to present here about the prevalence of insomnia in the general population among adults. As according to World Health Organization, it is reported that about 20 to 40% of adults experience sleep problems, and which shows that the prevalence is quite high. And several other studies as well suggested the same, and which is in Asian countries, in US, in UK as well. So it is generally about 20 to 40% of prevalence of insomnia. And depression symptoms and insomnia. So insomnia is commonly associated with psychological distress, and mainly the depression symptoms. And those individuals who experience depression, and their sleep pattern will be reduced amount of stages 3 and 4. So these stages 3 and 4 are the deep sleep stages. And then they experience the difficulty to fall asleep, to maintain the sleep, frequent awakenings, and waking up earlier than expected. So these are all the insomnia symptoms experienced by those who experience depression. Whereas life influence on sleep will be, so life events may play a role as precipitating or perpetuating factors, okay, that contribute to insomnia. And there are several life events experienced by adults throughout their life. So which can be problems at work or at home, even marital problems, conflicts with family members, and even serious illnesses or death among family members, which may include even friends as well. Okay, and the stress that one experiences out of these life events may trigger psychological and physiological arousal, and which then may result in the onset of insomnia symptoms. Okay, and the possibility that these individuals experience psychological distress is because that they may be unable to successfully cope with their stress in life. So that is the possibility. Okay. Okay, and the participants in these studies were 500 working adults in Georgetown, Penang, Malaysia, and the mean age was 34.6, and so there were 44.6 males, percentage of males, and 55.4% of females, which are aged between 20 to 60 years old. Okay, and only those individuals who work on normal working hours, which are from either 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we excluded those who work on shift because those who work at night, you know, that they experience different kind of sleep patterns, so it is difficult for us to measure on the insomnia symptoms. And only those individuals who are relatively healthy were included in this study. We even excluded those who reported of headache, flu, with fever, those kind of even minor illnesses we excluded because any kind of illnesses may contribute to sleep difficulties. And these participants were recruited non-randomly, and it was non-probability and convenience sampling. So we recruited these participants at their working places with the permission of the administration officers. Okay. Questionnaires that was used, we questioned on their personal details by using descriptive kind of questions, and whereas the depression symptoms, we used the general health questionnaire to measure the depression symptom, and whereas insomnia symptoms, we used the Athens insomnia scale, which has 8 items to measure on the insomnia symptoms. So it measures those symptoms which was mentioned earlier in the earlier slides. And whereas life events, for life events we used social readjustment rating scale, which is SRRS, which consists of 43 items. And we categorized those items into 10 events such as family, marriage, divorce, death, work, social activities, finance, business, legal matters, and personal and health. Okay, the prevalence of insomnia. So the prevalence was 27%, which was 135 of them out of 500 respondents, whereas 73% did not experience insomnia symptoms. So when it comes to gender and age group, so the mean for gender, okay, female, the mean 4.35, whereas male 3.76. So it shows that the mean for female is higher than male. So there was a significant mean differences between genders. So female respondents experienced more insomnia compared to male. And youngest age group, which are 20 to 29 years old, okay, they experienced more insomnia compared to the older age. And this is an interesting finding because it is in contrast with the findings of most previous studies, because the older a person gets, usually they experience more insomnia than the younger age groups. So this shows that the mean decreases with age, the mean of insomnia. Okay, and On the depression correlation with insomnia, so there was a significant correlation between depression symptoms and insomnia. So the R was 0.148, which is from low to moderate, and it is, however, significantly correlated with insomnia. Okay, we used regression analysis to measure on the life events associated with insomnia. So of all the 10 categories which was mentioned earlier, finance and work were significant risk factors for insomnia, and work showed 1.792 OR, odd ratio, whereas finance showed 1.841 odd ratio. So these two events were significant risk factors for insomnia. Okay. So as we can see, or as we know, the prevalence of insomnia among the general population is quite high, which is from 20 to 40, whereas the present study found that the prevalence of insomnia is 27%, and this is in accordance with past studies conducted in various other countries. Okay, and as expected, more females reported insomnia compared to males. So besides life events or psychological distress, females usually, they do have biological factors which can affect their sleep. Alright, so and when it comes to the age group, so which is in contrast, as I mentioned, to numerous past studies, so the youngest age group, that is age 20 to 29, experienced more insomnia compared to the older age group. So which we can say that the life events has played a role to contribute to their sleep problem or even the psychological distress. And the events which the results revealed is finance and work were the prominent events that contributed to insomnia symptoms in this study. So as we know, young age group people are those who newly start their work, and at the same time they are trying to stabilize their financial status, and also they experience, because that is the time that they enter into marriage life, and which they need more financial support to raise their family and all that. Okay, and as a conclusion, insomnia is a common sleep disorder experienced in the general population among adults. And the present study highlights that psychological distress may influence insomnia independently without the presence of physical illness, because, as I mentioned earlier, the participants included in this study were relatively healthy. Okay, and young adults reported more insomnia than older adults, which is possibly due to the life events and the psychological distress that they experience. Okay, so I would like to mention the limitations here. So the respondents, maybe some of the respondents may not have reported their illnesses, or maybe even the medication that they take, because there are certain medication which can affect sleep. So we are afraid that that might be one of the limitations. And polysomnographic test is an objective test used to assess on sleep pattern and also used to diagnose insomnia. Was not used in this present study because this test is only available in the hospitals, and we only used general population as a sample in the study. So it is not practical for us to use this test. And besides that, environmental factors such as noise or maybe uncomfortable living place or bedroom that may affect sleep were not asked in the present study. Okay, so that's about all, and thank you very much to everyone.